The galaxy had always underestimated humans. To the vast coalition of alien civilizations, humans were small, fragile, and unimportant. Their ships were slow, their weapons basic, and their colonies scattered across empty stretches of space. No one paid attention to them, until now. Captain Alara Vance stared at the holographic map before her, eyes sharp and calculating. The map displayed hundreds of star systems, glowing lines connecting colonies, trade routes, and patrol paths of alien fleets. To most, it looked like a jumble of dots and lines. To Alara, it was a puzzle waiting to be solved. She had spent years studying the galaxy's weaknesses, not its weapons, not its armies, but its arrogance. The aliens believed in their superiority. They thought technology alone could keep them safe. They had never considered the power of a human mind working as one with others. "Another transmission, Captain," said Lieutenant Rin, a young but sharp human officer. He handed her a small data chip. Encrypted, very old code. It came from, you won't believe it, the Renderan Expanse. Alara raised an eyebrow. The Renderan Expanse was a remote, mostly forgotten region of space. Only the most desperate or foolish traveled there. "Show me." The chip flickered to life, projecting a series of symbols and a voice recording. The voice was old, weary, but determined. "To those who survive, remember, the coalition betrayed you. Our colonies were abandoned. Our people left to die while others profited. One day we will settle our score." Alara's heart raced. These were the words of a human colony thought lost centuries ago. They were not angry, they were determined. Rin leaned closer. "Captain, this message is precise. It contains coordinates and some instructions." "Something about a device." Alara's mind worked quickly. "A device? Yes, ma'am, but it's complicated. We need to decode it fully." Alara nodded. She had a feeling that whatever this device was, it could change everything. Humanity had been underestimated for too long. The galaxy had laughed at their small fleets, mocked their slow ships, and ignored their colonies. But that laughter was about to end. A hidden human network, while the coalition focused on politics and trade, humans had been quietly building. Colonies in hidden corners of space had been communicating through secret channels. Scientists, engineers, and strategists collaborated across star systems, creating technology that was clever, subtle, and efficient. It was not designed for war. It was designed to prove a point. In the colony of Ardent 9, a small planet with deep red mountains and wide plains, Dr. Nia Voss worked tirelessly in her lab. She was one of the brightest human minds, known for inventing machines that could adapt themselves to any situation. Nia had been waiting for this moment her whole life. Her lab buzzed with activity. Machines whirred and screens flashed, showing schematics, energy readings, and star charts. Nia spoke to her team. "We've waited long enough. The galaxy thinks humans are weak. They think we are slow, unprepared, and predictable. Let's show them they are wrong." Her team smiled. They had all grown up hearing stories of betrayal, exile, and the neglect of their people. They had all dreamed of a day when humanity could stand tall. The device they were building was not a weapon. It was smarter than any weapon. It could analyze, predict, and reveal weaknesses in systems. It could show where alien logistics failed, where communication lines were weak, and where arrogance blinded the coalition. It was a tool of intelligence, not destruction. The first move back on Alara's command ship, the Resolute Dawn, the crew prepared for their mission. The ship itself was modest compared to the massive alien fleets, but it was fast, agile, and equipped with human ingenuity. Alara addressed her officers. "We are not going to fight with guns or bombs. We are going to fight with our minds. The galaxy has underestimated us for too long. Every step we take must be calculated, every decision precise. We move quietly, but our impact will be loud." Lieutenant Rin smirked. "Sounds like humans always find a way," Alara nodded. "Exactly. We do what they cannot imagine. They see limits. We see possibilities." The crew knew the risks. Alien patrols were everywhere. Discovery could mean capture, or worse, being written off as another failed human colony. But none of them hesitated. They trusted Alara and they trusted each other. The first jump took them through the dark void, past asteroid belts and abandoned trade stations. Communication with the colonies was limited, they could not risk detection. Yet every message they sent was encoded, every movement calculated. Humanity's strength was not in force. It was in planning, collaboration, and creativity. Alien arrogance. Meanwhile, in the grand halls of the Galactic Coalition, the leaders laughed at the rumors. "The humans," said Counselor Vinter, a blue-scaled alien with long tentacles. "They are nothing, a minor species. They cannot even maintain a fleet without collapsing into chaos." Another council member nodded. "Let them play in the outer rim. Their colonies are irrelevant. Their technology is primitive. We have nothing to fear." But not everyone was so sure. A few council members whispered about strange readings, unexplained movements in the outer sectors, signals intercepted from unknown sources, and colonies that appeared and disappeared without notice. Vinter waved them off. "Paranoia. The humans are clever, yes, but limited. They cannot compete with the Coalition's fleets, our surveillance, our resources. Fear them? Preposterous." The council laughed again. They would soon learn that preconceptions were dangerous. Human ingenuity in action. Alara's ship approached the coordinates given in the old transmission. A hidden human colony awaited them, silent, forgotten, yet thriving in its own way. The colony's leader, Commander Talon, greeted them with respect and quiet determination. "You've come for the device," Talon said. "It is ready, Captain, but remember, it is not a weapon. It is knowledge, strategy, and insight. The galaxy fears force. We will show them something far stronger." Alara nodded. "We do not need to destroy them to be respected. We only need to show them we are capable." The device was small, almost unassuming. Yet it held the power to reveal entire systems, showing weak points not in soldiers or weapons, but in planning, logistics, and strategy. It was a map of possibilities, a mirror that reflected the Coalition's mistakes. As the device was loaded onto the Resolute Dawn, Alara felt a surge of hope. Humanity had waited centuries for this moment. They had endured neglect, betrayal, and underestimation. But now the spark had been lit. The spark of change, the first jump back into the wider galaxy, was tense. Every sensor was active, every star chart scanned. Humans were moving like shadows, unseen, unheard, and unpredictable. Lieutenant Rin leaned over the console. "Captain, the galaxy doesn't know we're coming." Alara smiled. "Good, let's keep it that way. When they realize, it will be too late to ignore us." From a distance, alien patrols moved along their predictable routes, unaware of the silent fleet navigating between them. Humans used tactics that were unconventional but brilliant. They never clashed directly. They relied on speed, misdirection, and intelligence. Every action was a statement. Humans were no longer to be overlooked. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak. The galaxy had assumed humans could be ignored. But the spark had been lit, and soon the entire galaxy would feel the heat of human ingenuity. Alara looked out at the stars, her mind focused and calm. "The game begins now. Let them underestimate us. Let them think we are small. One day they will learn what it means to face humans united, not with rage but with brilliance." And so the stage was set. Across distant colonies, hidden labs, and quiet starships, humanity prepared to rise. Not with violence, not with fear, but with something far stronger: intelligence, resilience, and unity. The galaxy had laughed at humans for centuries. That would end soon. The galaxy had never seen humans move like this before. Quiet, careful, brilliant. Captain Alara Vance sat in the command chair of the Resolute Dawn, eyes scanning the holographic star map. The device they had retrieved from the hidden colony pulsed softly, a silent heartbeat of human ingenuity. Every blink, every line of light represented a possibility, a weakness in the galaxy's seemingly perfect structure. "Captain," said Lieutenant Wren, "I've run the first simulations. The device, it's showing more than I expected. Trade routes, fleet patterns, even hidden colonies that the Coalition thought were secret. We can predict almost everything they will do before they do it." Alara leaned forward. "Exactly. That is our advantage. Humans do not just react. We plan, adapt, and stay 10 steps ahead. The galaxy thinks in force. We think in ideas." Rin smiled. "I still can't believe this is happening. The galaxy, it's all out there for us." Alara shook her head slightly. "Not for us alone, but for humans united it becomes unstoppable. Subtle moves, giant impact." Humans did not rush into battle. They did not fire weapons. They moved like a silent tide across the galaxy. Small human scout ships slipped past alien patrols, carrying messages, supplies, and intelligence. Colonies that had been abandoned for centuries began communicating again. Trade systems once dominated by alien corporations quietly adjusted, giving humans subtle control over resources. In the heart of the Rendoran expanse, Dr. Nia Voss smiled as her lab screens displayed live updates. "They are doing exactly what we planned," she said. Her team worked furiously, monitoring alien fleet movements and sending encoded instructions to human ships across the galaxy. It was not war. It was strategy. It was art. The aliens noticed anomalies. Fleets seemed to vanish from patrols. Trade shipments arrived faster than expected. Colonies that had no known alliances suddenly shared resources and information. Yet they could not understand why humans were succeeding without confrontation. Counselor Vinter, still confident, sneered at the reports. "It is chaos," he said. "Humans are minor. A fleet disappearing here, a trade route adjusted there, insignificant. They cannot challenge the Coalition. They cannot." He paused, realizing something. Reports were mounting. Systems once thought secure were showing gaps. Human colonies were suddenly acting together, moving in perfect coordination. The Coalition had never considered that humans could be smart, creative, and united. They had always relied on weapons, numbers, and predictable tactics. Humanity did not play by their rules. First test of ingenuity. Alara received an urgent message from a human colony near the Jorvik system. Alien patrols were planning a sweep through the sector. If humans were discovered, years of preparation would be wasted. She called a strategy meeting. The officers gathered around the holographic map. "We cannot face them directly," Alara said. "We do not have the fleet's strength and we do not want to fight, but they will move where we predict. We can guide them, mislead them, and leave them chasing shadows." Lieutenant Rin tapped the map. "We can reroute their patrols using decoy signals. They will think there are human ships here while our real ships move elsewhere." Alara nodded. "Exactly. Humans do not confront challenges head-on. We outthink, outmaneuver, and surprise. That is our strength." The plan was executed perfectly. Decoy signals drew alien patrols to empty systems. Human scouts moved freely, mapping alien defenses, uncovering secret supply lines, and gathering intelligence for the colonies. Every step increased human influence across the galaxy. The alien panic begins by now. Whispers of human activity had reached the Galactic Council. Alien leaders gathered, tension rising for the first time in centuries. Counselor Vinter slammed his clawed hand on the table. "They are everywhere. Fleets vanish, supply lines fail, colonies act together. It is unnatural." Another counselor, more cautious, added, "We underestimated them. Their coordination, their intelligence, it is beyond expectation. They are adapting faster than our fleets can respond." Vinter growled. "Impossible. Humans are small, weak. We cannot be challenged by them." Yet deep inside, even he knew they were seeing something new, something dangerous to their assumptions. Humanity was not just surviving. Humanity was excelling. Human networks expand. In the distant human colony of Solaris, Engineers adjusted communication arrays to send encrypted signals to every human ship. Colonies that had once operated in isolation were now connected like neurons in a single brain. Every movement, every action, every observation was shared instantly. Alara received reports from multiple sectors. Human fleets had mapped patrol patterns, trade routes, and supply chains. Colonies had begun exchanging knowledge about alien weaknesses, from flawed resource management to overconfidence in defense systems. All this without a single weapon fired. In a quiet chamber, Alara reflected on the progress. "The galaxy has feared humans for the wrong reasons," she said softly. "They think fear comes from destruction. They don't understand that true power comes from intelligence, unity, and resilience." Rin, standing nearby, smiled. "They are going to realize it soon." Alara nodded. "Yes, but timing is everything. The galaxy must see our strength and understand it themselves." The first bold message, Alara decided it was time to send a message, not a threat, but a statement. Using the Coalition's own communication channels, humans transmitted a carefully encrypted message to every major alien civilization. It read simply, "We are here. We are united. We have waited, learned, and grown. The galaxy has underestimated us for too long. That ends now. Humans are capable. Respect what you do not yet understand." The message spread quickly. Panic and confusion rippled through the Coalition. Fleets hesitated, leaders argued, analysts scrambled to understand the sudden shift. Humans had not attacked, but they had demonstrated influence, intelligence, and unity that no one had expected. Vinter's tentacles twitched in anger. "They are taunting us. How can a species so small, so insignificant, command attention across the galaxy without firing a shot?" Another counselor whispered, "It is not taunting. It is genius. They are showing us that force is not their strength. Strategy, coordination, and intellect, that is what we are facing." A galaxy unprepared, the galaxy had always measured strength by size, firepower, and control. Humans had none of these, yet they were moving faster than anyone could predict. Every colony, every ship, every individual contributed to a growing network of influence. Alara reviewed the latest intelligence. Alien fleets were in disarray. Supply chains were disrupted, not destroyed, but altered in subtle ways that forced confusion. Colonies once ignored by the Coalition now operated independently but in perfect harmony. Humans were reshaping the galaxy without a single battle. Every action was precise, calculated, and purposeful. Rin shook his head. "It's incredible, they will never see this coming." Alara smiled. "They will see it, Rin, but it will be too late to stop it. They will realize humans are not what they expected." The rising tide. The human fleet moved like a silent tide. Every colony contributed, every officer followed plans with discipline, and every citizen played a role in expanding influence. Humans were not fighting with weapons. They were fighting with thought, innovation, and collaboration. The galaxy's strongest civilizations were beginning to shake. Fleets halted mid-mission. Trade routes were rerouted. Plans of conquest were reconsidered. The Coalition could no longer predict human behavior, and unpredictability was humans' greatest weapon. Alara watched the stars pass by as the resolute dawn jumped through space. "Soon," she whispered, "the galaxy will know. Humans are not weak. Humans are not insignificant. Humans are unstoppable when united." Rin glanced at her. "And they still won't see a shot fired." Alara nodded. "No, our strength is not in firepower. It is in brilliance, in unity, and in perseverance. That is what makes the galaxy tremble." For the first time, humans were no longer shadows in the galaxy. They were rising, a tide the Coalition had ignored and a force no one had expected. The spark from Part 1 was now a growing flame. Across hidden colonies, silent fleets, and secret labs, humanity's influence spread. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. But the rising tide would soon leave no doubt. The galaxy had never faced a threat like this, not from weapons, not from fleets, and certainly not from humans. Yet here they were, rising in influence, intelligence, and coordination, showing every civilization that power could take many forms. Captain Alara Vance stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, her eyes fixed on the star map before her. Each blinking dot represented a human colony, fleet, or intelligence node now operating as a single organism. Humanity was no longer scattered. Humanity was united. "Captain," Lieutenant Rin said, tapping the console, "we've received messages from nearly all major colonies. They're ready, waiting for our signal. The coalition, they're still trying to regroup, but the chaos is spreading." Alara smiled faintly. "Good. Then it's time they understand what humans are capable of, not through firepower but through brilliance." The coalition's emergency council, the Alien Coalition, meanwhile, convened in panic. The Grand Council chamber of the Galanthar Spire was filled with representatives from every major species. Tentacles twitched, scales shimmered, and eyes widened in fear and confusion. Counselor Vinter slammed a clawed hand onto the table. "This cannot be. The humans, they are everywhere and nowhere. Our fleets cannot predict them. Our colonies are being influenced, rerouted, and reorganized, without a single shot fired." Another counselor, usually calm and logical, spoke nervously. "We underestimated them. They are adapting faster than we can analyze. They are not fighting, are reorganizing the galaxy itself." Vinter growled. "Call every fleet, every patrol, bring our best strategists." "We will crush them." The room fell silent. Everyone realized that force alone would not stop humans. They had misjudged humanity for centuries. The galaxy had expected humans to act like other species, predictable, fearful, and weak. They were wrong. Humans make their move. Alara activated the human network. Colonies, scouts, and research stations all synced together. Every movement was coordinated, every message timed. The humans were about to demonstrate the full scope of their power, not with violence but with intelligence and unity. The first transmission went out. It reached every major alien civilization simultaneously. "We are humans. We are united. We have waited, learned, and grown. The galaxy has ignored us for centuries. That ends now. We do not seek destruction, but we demand respect, equality, and recognition. The future of the galaxy must include humanity. Choose wisely." The message stunned the galaxy. Never before had one species spoken so openly, boldly, and without aggression, yet with authority no one could ignore. Rin leaned forward, astonished. They can't ignore this. They have no choice." Alara nodded. "Exactly. They see our strength, but they cannot fight it with weapons. Our power is in strategy, unity, and ingenuity. The galaxy must accept that humans are capable." The reaction across the galaxy, alien fleets froze mid-mission. Commanders argued. Analysts tried to find flaws, but the message was backed by action. Humans had mapped every patrol route, adjusted trade lines, and subtly reorganized resource networks to demonstrate control. Colonies previously ignored were now thriving hubs of coordination. Alien diplomats scrambled to understand the human network, only to find that it was decentralized, adaptive, and intelligent. No single strike could disrupt it. Counselor Vinter's tentacles trembled. "They are everywhere. They do not fight, yet they control systems. They are unstoppable." Another counselor whispered, "This is genius, not aggression, but influence. They have reorganized the galaxy without firing a single weapon. What do we do?" Vinter's growl was low, full of fear and disbelief. "We underestimated them. We were wrong." The human statement, Alara prepared the final move. She addressed the galaxy, not from a warship but through a broadcast visible in every major system. "We are humans. We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest, but we seek recognition. For centuries, we were underestimated, ignored, and betrayed. Today, we remind the galaxy that humans are intelligent, creative, and united. We have endured, we have learned, and now we rise. Respect humanity, or the galaxy will face a species it cannot ignore, not because of weapons, but because of brilliance. The broadcast carried weight because it was backed by proof. Every colony, every fleet, every human network had been synchronized to demonstrate capability. The galaxy could not dismiss it. Vinter growled. Impossible, they cannot be this organized. Alara watched the holographic map light up with human activity. Every system moved with purpose, every colony participated, and every fleet coordinated seamlessly. The galaxy had expected humans to be weak, but this was beyond imagination. The turning point diplomats from the coalition began sending messages. They asked for meetings, negotiations, and assurances. Humans could have demanded submission, but they did not. Instead, they demanded fairness, respect, and equal status in the galaxy. Alara and her council of human leaders debated their approach. They could show force, but that was not their way. Humans did not rely on intimidation. They relied on intelligence, strategy, and moral authority. Finally, Alara addressed the human fleet. We will show them what humans value, not destruction, not fear, but unity, creativity, and fairness. The galaxy must see that humans are equals, not enemies. The fleet followed her orders. Colonies presented trade, research, and communication solutions. Humans helped reorganize failing systems, showing that collaboration, not conflict, was their strength. The coalition realizes. Counselor Vinter finally faced the reality. Humans were not to be feared for their violence, but respected for their brilliance. The galaxy had judged them by size and firepower, but humans had demonstrated something far more powerful: strategy, intelligence, and unity beyond any other species' capability. He slumped back in his seat. We have been wrong. All this time we misjudged humans. They are not weak. They are not insignificant. They are something else entirely. Other counselors nodded reluctantly. The galaxy had been shaken not by fleets, not by bombs, but by humans. A new status quo within weeks, humans gained recognition across the galaxy. Formerly ignored colonies were granted trade rights and positions in the Galactic Council. Alien fleets adapted to the new reality, now aware that human strategies could not be defeated by brute force alone. Alara stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, looking at the stars. Each blinking light represented a system now aware of human potential. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated. For centuries, they had endured. Now the galaxy would never underestimate them again. Rin leaned over, eyes wide. They finally understand. They have no choice but to accept us. Alara smiled. Yes, and they will remember this moment, not because we fought, but because we were smarter, faster, and united. That is what makes humans strong. HFY triumph. Humans had settled their score, not with violence, but with brilliance. The galaxy feared them, yes, but it was a fear born of respect, not hatred. Humans had proven that strength is not just measured in weapons or numbers, but in creativity, unity, and intelligence. Colonies sent messages of celebration. Engineers, scientists, and strategists who had worked in secret were finally recognized. Across the galaxy, humans were no longer the underestimated species. They were leaders, thinkers, and innovators. Alara reflected quietly. The galaxy assumed humans were small, weak, and limited, but we proved them wrong. Every step we took was precise, every action planned. We did not need to destroy, we only needed to show what humans can do when united. Rin grinned. And they will remember, always. Alara nodded. Yes, humanity has risen not with force but with brilliance. That is our true power. As the stars streaked past the Resolute Dawn, Alara felt a deep sense of pride. Humanity had endured betrayal, neglect, and doubt. Now the galaxy would never forget them. The spark of Part 1 had become a flame in Part 2, and in Part 3 it had become a blazing light that illuminated the entire galaxy. Humans had risen, not to conquer, but to claim respect, equality, and recognition. The galaxy had shaken, and humans had done it without a single shot fired. To be continued in Part 4, Humanity's Lasting Legacy.